Our quest for Bachi led us to the remote village of Rongchu Sampalgre. The journey was exciting, and the winding roads into the scenic landscape acts as a reminder of how nature has bestowed its beauty generously upon Garo hills. Shortly after our arrival, it started raining. Nothing beats the sight of raindrops falling in the countryside. We took a moment to admire this beautiful sight. Rongchu Sampalgre, like most Garo villages, is a remote agricultural village where farming is the main occupation. Rice, millets, betel nuts are mainly grown in this village. Rice is the staple diet of the Garos. Here, we see the villagers tilling the paddy fields. Rice or sticky rice is also the main ingredient for Chu Bachi. Chu Bachi is revered and considered sacred to the Songsariks. Here we see Chu Bachi being offered to the gods. Every Songsarik drinks Chu Bachi. The Songsarik elders, youngsters, and even the children cherish this Chu Bachi. Children begin to drink this Chu Bachi before they even learn how to walk or talk. One of the first beverage given to a Songsarik infant after its suckling phase is none other than this Chu Bachi. The Songsariks are Garo non-Christians who still follow the ways of their ancestors, of which Wangala is the most important festival. This festival marks the end of the harvest and acts as a thanksgiving to the gods. The Songsariks go on a Chu Bachi drinking spree during this festival. The other Garos, tourists, and visitors also join the Songsariks in their celebrations during this festive season. The Songsariks of Rongchu Sampalgre's way of life is simplicity at its best. Both men and women work hard together.
Hello viewers, we are here at this beautiful village called Rongchu Sampalgre under Seltla block, which is about 50 kilometers away from Tura. This village is one of the few villages left in Garo Hills where Garo non-Christians, or Songsariks as they are commonly known, are still thriving. Songsariks still follow the practices and culture and traditions of our ancestors, one of which is the art of making Chu Bachi and the use of Bachi in our culture. But what is this Chu Bachi? Chu Bachi, or rice beer, is an alcoholic beverage made of rice, millets, or sometimes tapioca. Any occasion is marked incomplete without the use of this Bachi. A host has to offer Bachi to his guests as a mark of hospitality and as a welcoming gesture. Marriages, funerals, roof fixing, farming, festivals are all deemed incomplete without the use of Bachi. So here we are to learn how this Bachi will be made. So let's go.
The Songsariks of Rongchu Sampalgre are simple and extremely hospitable. Family is the most important bond that binds the Songsariks together. The women wear bracelets called sangongs, earrings called natapsi, which is matched by their headgear called a kopeng. We were welcomed by our hostess with Nak M. Sangma, who willingly volunteered to show us how this Chu Bachi is prepared. I followed her into the garden as she looks for the ingredients to make this Chu Bachi.
picture. So what she's saying is, this is a plant called Achetra. This is an indigenous Garo plant, and then it depends on the area. Like some places in Garo Hills use ferns as the basic means for making yeast, but out here we are dealing with this plant called Achetra. So she's saying that she's gonna pound this into a powder along with chili flakes, and that will be our basic ingredient.
We watch her gather the necessary ingredients, which she did very professionally. Achetra is a plant found in all parts of Garo Hills, but the people of Rongchu Samphalgre use this plant as the main ingredient to make a fermenting agent for the making of the stew butchi. Here we see rice being prepared. The unwanted husks are handpicked and separated from the grains. The rice is then winnowed carefully, getting rid of any unwanted particles left in the grains. The rice is now ready to be transferred to the next stage. Water is poured on the rice to clean it thoroughly. After the cleaning process is done, the rice is removed from the water and is shifted to a large cooking pot. After pouring the required amount of water, the pot is left on top of a firewood stove and left to cook. An attempt to reignite the fire with the help of a bamboo pipe was made by our hostess. The Garos, like most other tribals, mainly use firewood for cooking. Finally, the fire is lit and our rice is left to cook. The kitchen is quite a spectacle, decorated with diktom, an earthen pot used for making butchi, kok, which is a large basket made of bamboo, and dikte, a small earthen pot. Bamboo rope or wading are also hung on top of the fireplace in the kitchen to make them more firm. These hollow cylindrical small bamboo baskets are called chanti. Chanti is kept in the middle of a diktom and it acts as a filter which separates the alcohol chubuchi from the rice. Koksi or bamboo mini baskets and maize coverings are also hung inside this kitchen. As the rice slowly began to cook inside, another important ingredient in butchi making was ready to be made outside. Our hostess showed us how wanti, yeast, is made by them. She collected all the ingredients into a ruan or a flat bamboo tray which consisted of soaked rice, red chili, achetra, and unused wanti. As we wait for the wanti to be made, we catch a small glimpse of the village life.
Chalik ni man kinga, ini mirong kinga. Tapi ya chalik kara, mereka kuat chalik.
Dia bahasa ni chalik.
Bahasa chalik. Kalau dia, rumah chalik kan umay ma, ini kara.
gemuk zat lekong ariati nadi.
अच्छा दिकुमिंग या मिरोंग आ
Mungba aban mirung nambata.
अच्छा दिकुमिंग बाजार नि मिरोंग दे namjama.
Bazal ni mirung di datan mati minna nambata.
Okay. So what she's saying is, these are chilies, and any kind of chili, I mean, should work just as fine. But then about this rice, she says the locally grown rice is much preferred to the ones we find in the market. Chabi yara, you sugar na ngaman angja. You can manage sugar ja.
Jadi pura random zogi ya ada cita random zogi itu salah sana
Okay.
Acap suku tu.
지금은 이 앞주가 허라 발달 이렇게 된다는 게 이런 minute 동안 minute 큰 와인 없어. So she says we do not need to wash this plant, achita plant, and then this rice and chili are left to dry so that everything will be dried and then will be pounded together later. As you can see, we've left the achitra to dry in the sun, and we've left this rice and then this chili as well. We need these dry. I mean, like we should get rid of all the moisture left in these three main ingredients.
Our hostess left the soaked rice and chilies to dry for a while. She took this moment to rest for some time. Some children of the village also came to pay us a visit. Once the moisture inside the rice begins to dry, all the ingredients of the wanti are placed inside a cha'am or a giant wooden mortar. Our hostess then took out a wooden pestle or a rumol, cleaned it, and then began to pound all the ingredients together. Pounding in a giant mortar can be tiring. So she was soon assisted by her sister, who turned out to be more than efficient in the art of pounding. Two pestles pounding together in a giant mortar can be very tricky. So unless you have enough experience, you shouldn't try this at home. Once the wanti is pounded into a powder, it is removed from the mortar and kept in a bamboo tray or ruwan. It takes quite an effort to pound rice, and usually only women do this kind of work, but there are exceptions. All the ingredients are now properly mixed. The color of the mixed ingredients has turned green due to the achetra. The wanti should be pounded into a fine powder, and if some lumps remain on the wanti, they are placed back at the mortar to be pounded again.
Achana pura shuman jokmo, imun tahu ni ya sapat kebar mai ni ya.
Wanci kol nunggu.
Wanci kol. Ini ya mai ya.
Wanci ama maga kucam.
Wanti tam. Okay, so as you can see, she's kneading the dough right now. She has added this wanti kol, which is basically old wanti or yeast. This acts as an fermenting agent, which will be very essential for our bati making.
All the ingredients are perfectly mixed together and kneaded into a dough. The dough is rolled again and again until it gets soft and smooth. Once the dough is ready, it is broken into small dough balls, which is further flattened and left to settle on a ruan. This dough is then placed inside a kerang or a medium-sized bamboo basket covered with straw and is kept inside the kitchen for about a week. It typically takes about 7 days for the wanti to be ready for use. Our rice is now cooked and removed from the pot into a bamboo mat and is evenly spread out and left to cool. This is how a wanti looks when it is ready for use. It is further hand crushed into a fine powder. Once the rice cools down, this powdered wanti is spread all over the rice evenly. This mixture is then poured into an earthen pot or dukthom and is covered tightly and left for about 2 weeks or more. Generally, banana leaves are used for covering this dikthom, but due to easy availability of plastic lately, a plastic covering was used for this dikthom. The villagers bring in fresh broom plants and bamboo poles, which is used for their ritualistic worship. The bark of the bamboo is carefully shaved in the middle and is collected in the lower end of the midpole. This bamboo pole should be about an average man's height. It takes some skill for this particular ritual. This man happens to be the brother of our host, and he was invited by his brother to help in the ritual. The strands of the shaved bamboo are carefully tied together like a lock of hair resembling that of a human. As we have seen, an altar has been erected for the goddess Sushmi Atham, who happens to be the goddess of evening as well as health. A blood sacrifice was required by a hostess to appease this goddess to help her in her speedy recovery from her backache. Our host also happens to be the head priest of this village, and it was him who performed this ritual, and we have also witnessed how Chubichi was used for this ritual and how important Chubichi is in the Garos culture. This is an important part of this ritual. A rooster is chosen to be sacrificed to the gods. A fire is lit nearby, and a daka or Chubichi is also placed alongside it. The altar is now almost completed, and the ka or diluted rice beer is also ready to be served to the gods. This ritual starts with the blowing of a small bamboo pipe and the burning of incense for the gods. Water is placed inside a small earthen pot or diptych and is sprayed on the altar. Chants and prayers are made for the gods to listen. The chants and prayers to the goddess Shushme Atam turn more intense with each passing minute. The head priest invokes the blessings of the goddess unto our hostess for her recovery. Rice beer is then poured on a banana leaf from a pong, which is a dried and hardened hollow gourd. Chubachi is then offered to the gods, and the priest then drinks a little himself. The rooster is also part of this ritual, and once the chants are made, it is ready to be sacrificed. The blood of the rooster is sprayed all over the altar. The bowels are removed from the rooster and are hung on the altar. One incredible part of a Songsarik's belief is their trust in the gods. We were told that no one from their family ever visited a doctor. All they need is to sacrifice some animals to appease the gods to cure any kind of disease. This we have witnessed firsthand ourselves. Though our hostess still need another ritualistic sacrifice for her to heal completely according to the head priest, we will hopefully come back for a second ritual and enjoy our special and delicious chubachi yet again.